Hello, thank you all for being here. I'm here as Golden Horns Consulting. My name is Brian Cullen, and later on in the presentation you'll be meeting Joey Matthew and Ethan Friedland, and we're here to discuss how Chipotle can solve their business challenges that they are currently facing. So first we'll go over the agenda for today. We'll first begin with a company overview, and we'll then follow it up with a business challenge analysis, and then go into the internal and external analysis, which will support the strategic options we have prepared for you, and then our final recommendation, how we plan on implementing this recommendation, any risks associated with it, and then the pro forma. So first, we'll begin with the company overview. And in 1993, Steve Ells founded Chipotle in Boulder, Colorado, and he was originally a chef, so he plans on using restaurant-style cooking in any of the food that Chipotle prepares. And then this moves on to 1998, when after first starting out with some smaller investors, he got a $50 million investment from McDonald's. Originally, some believed that there would be a conflict of interest in how they would like to expand the restaurants. McDonald's favoring more of a franchise approach, whereas Chipotle does not like to franchise. And for a while, these conflicts of interest were not realized. And then in 2006, the conflicts became too much, and McDonald's and Chipotle separated. And this was also the same year that Chipotle had their IPO. It was very successful, and in the first day their stock doubled. And later on in 2011, Consumer Reports named Chipotle the best Mexican chain restaurant in the United States. This is followed up later in 2013 when Chipotle becomes the first national chain to publicize their GMO use. And then in 2015, they completely eliminated GMOs in their own food, and it remains only in the soda that they serve in their restaurant. Also in 2015 was when the E. coli outbreaks began to occur in Chipotle stores, and this reached a height of 11 states. But eventually in 2016, the CDC announced that the Chipotle outbreak, the E. coli outbreak had finished, and we are here where we are at today. And now we're going to move on to begin discussing Chipotle's culture and values. Culture and values are an enormous part of Chipotle's company, and we're going to first begin with the customer experience. Chipotle wants to provide a consistent customer experience whenever a customer walks into their store, whether that store be in Pennsylvania or in California. So by doing this, they have a consistent and distinct design in all of their stores so that it's identifiable when customers walk into it. And when customers walk in, they're met with friendly line workers at all locations. And then moving on to sustainability, the main factor in that is the Chipotle's Cultivate Foundation, which is focused on promoting sustainability among small farmers and food education initiatives. And then following that is their integrity. As mentioned previously, their food with integrity is their motto, and this ties in with other trademarks such as the responsibly raised meats and fresh is not enough anymore. This is also seen in their elimination of GMOs in their food in 2015. Lastly, their high performance culture is tied into their restaurateur program, which is aimed at training internally their line workers to become managers, and this has led to a much more dedicated and highly motivated workforce because line workers now see that they can be promoted to upper management instead of just being in a stagnant lower level position. And now moving into the core competencies that Chipotle has, we've identified two that are their main core competencies, and the first being the relationship with their small and mid-sized farmers and ranchers. This has led them to have the power to negotiate favorable pricing with these farmers and ranchers because they have a much more intimate relationship than the large-scale franchisors that use very large-scale farmers that there's no real personal connection with them. Whereas Chipotle uses this personal, intimate relationship to establish some type of pricing power. Then their other competency is their fresh and locally sourced ingredients. This ties in with their mantra of food with integrity, as seen through their other trademark slogans such as fresh is not enough anymore and responsibly raised meats. They use their fresh and locally sourced ingredients to defend their market share against emerging competitors. Consumers have demonstrated a willingness to pay a premium for the products that Chipotle offers, so we feel that this is developed into a core competency for them. And this also goes now into their current strategy. As mentioned previously, food with integrity is a major part of Chipotle as a company. So we'll move into the high levels of operational efficiency, and this is achieved through their assembly line style of preparing their food. You're first greeted with someone who will take your order, and then your bowl or burrito is moved down the line through an assembly line of workers, keeping you moving through the process to achieve efficiency. And their simplified menu also ties into their operational efficiency, because they have to prepare and stock fewer ingredients than other restaurants, which have numerous ingredients, and this leads to a much more complicated back kitchen area. And then finally, their commitment to independence under their no franchising. Chipotle wishes to have a high degree of control over all their restaurants, which they feel would be diluted if they had franchisees. So they keep control by having all their stores completely corporately owned, and this allows them to have a similar design style, menu, and to assure that customers receive the same product whenever they go into a Chipotle store. And now we're going to go into the business challenge that we feel Chipotle is currently facing. And we've identified Chipotle's business challenge as: how can you rebuild the fanatic customer base that first led to your incredible growth, but also make sure that future crises do not occur while sustaining this growth. And now I'm going to pass it on to Joey, and he will begin conducting the external analysis.
Thank you, Brian. And now we'd like to go a little bit further in depth into the analysis that we've done of Chipotle to see where we're coming from exactly with our analysis of the business challenge and the strategic solutions we plan on presenting. So moving into global trends that Chipotle has operated in and will operate in the future. We have three things we'd like to highlight. First being a change in consumer preference that Chipotle is correctly identified, and we want to make sure that we leverage that opportunity in the future. Consumer preferences have changed within the past 5 to 10 years. Consumers are now looking for more healthier options in their food purchases. They're looking for more non-GMO options in their food purchases, mostly from being more informed about the types of food that they're ingesting. And Chipotle's done a great job of that in the past, and we hope we leverage that in the future. Secondly, we'd like to talk about the rise of social media, especially with the US market. Chipotle's done a great job of reaching its target demographic without using traditional media to advertise. And we want to leverage that further in some of the strategic options that Ethan will outline later. And finally, with any solution we mentioned to you today, we want you to also really think about the effects it will have on the commodity pricing and the labor pricing that you have in your variable cost structure. And now moving into where Chipotle sees itself within the industry. The food industry is, in a sense, a very competitive market, in that the threat of substitution is really minimal. However, the bargaining power of the suppliers is low, competitive rivalry is high, and the bargaining power of consumers is also very high. Again, which all that means is it's highly competitive, and value has to be created in less industry-specific ways and more at the company level, which Chipotle has done a beautiful job of in the past. We want to continue that trend. And now moving into specifically where we see Chipotle in the market, we would put you in, this is probably something you've heard a million times, but we would put you more in the fast casual segment, where you probably in that cool medium of quality to the consumer versus that price per person. Yes, the quality isn't as great as some of the higher end chain, but the consumers know that, and we've noticed a trend within the past 5 years of consumer moving more towards that casual, fast casual segment, because they see the perceived quality as the best of use of their money, and this is perfect for Chipotle for right now. Now moving on to some of the internal analysis that we've done with Chipotle. First, we'd like to get into what we see as the strengths for Chipotle and what we see as where Chipotle adds value. And this is something that we've had a great pleasure of researching because you've done such a great job of creating strengths and value. And the main strength that we see with Chipotle is that brand equity. That brand equity has recently started to diminish because consumers are starting to have trust issues with the brand. They don't want to get sick. Of course, no one wants to get sick eating the food that they love, but that doesn't mean consumers still don't love that food. And we also see that the company-owned stores that you have leveraged into a great operations model that's been very efficient, and as we'll see later on, has almost industry-leading margin expansion potential. And in terms of value, again, it's the HR that you bring in, it's the operational strength that you have that makes you such a great firm. However, you do have that self-imposed restraint of procurement costs and being able to bring in food that you find you deem appropriate and deem as organic and best for the consumer. And we've seen this with the Carroll Farms debacle that you've had, maybe because of fault of your own or fault of Carroll Farms. That is a cost that we have to put into any strategic option that we bring today. Now moving into the financial analysis of your firm, again, as I mentioned, your operational efficiency is top notch. Compared to competitors, you have almost a 400 basis point spread on your nearest competitor in terms of net margin. And that's mostly due to the low SG&A costs that you have and the low debt structure and the equity-based debt structure that you have. You're able to create more value in that top line to bottom line space. And again, growth has been historically and compared to comps very good. It's just waned in the months that you've struggled with this issue you had with product being unhealthy. And in terms of liquidity and solvency, they're not an issue for you. You have a 0.3 3 times current ratio, so you have money to spend, and that's money that hopefully you'll be able to use towards fixing the problems that we see. And now I'm going to pass it over to Ethan to go into our strategic initiatives that we have planned for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Joey. I'll now be talking about our strategic options. So Chipotle, we think, has 2 main areas that they could focus their strategic options on. One is on the supply chain side and increasing its supply chain efficiency, and the other side is the marketing initiatives. So we saw 4 possible options on the supply chain side. First is a partnership with an established grocery chain. That way they can better source their materials, have a better scale. Then the second would be farmer subsidy programs, providing farmers with some money in order to increase the supply of organic products. The third part would be establishing company-owned farms and actually internally sourcing the organic food that we want to provide for our customers. Lastly, it would be the lower standards on the responsibly raised meats. We didn't believe that this would be a good idea because obviously Chipotle draws a lot from its brand recognition and its responsibly raised meats, but it is an option in order to increase the supply of their products. On the marketing side, we think there was 2 options. So one would be the My Chipotle participatory marketing campaign, which is drawing on its fan base, its customers, to really participate in the company, provide advertising ideas, provide marketing ideas, and so on. The second option would also be a rewards program, so either through an app or anything else, providing customers, loyal customers and new customers, a really good reason to come back to stores and buy more Chipotle products. So then the recommendation that we came up with was a 2-part plan drawing on those supply chain efficiencies and the marketing. For the supply chain side, we thought a partnership with Albertsons would be the best way to go, because we thought Albertsons is a grocery store that has good brand recognition. They have the scale that's required. So the first part is Albertsons Wild Harvest House brand. Albertsons right now and all its other chains are trying to increase its organic brand image, and by partnering with Chipotle, we believe that they can get the word out that they're changing their products as well as Chipotle is changing their products and where they source them from. Secondly would be the advanced distribution network. Albertsons has thousands of stores in every region of the United States and could easily supply the over 2,000 Chipotle locations that are currently in the U.S. This would increase revenue, we believe, for Albertsons and Chipotle, but for Albertsons, we think would increase their revenue because people would be buying these organic products, which usually have a higher margin and cost more money, and they be getting this brand name out there for Albertsons. And this in cause would also increase the publicity and the foot traffic for both stores. We think by putting this partnership out there, Albertsons, Chipotle would come out and say, we're really sourcing these organic products, we're trying to get the healthier products, better products to our customers. So come to our stores, we have the best products, we have the best organic food that you can get. On the public perception side, we think a My Chipotle participatory marketing campaign would be the best option. Here we would be giving millennials a chance to share their voice. So some of your most loyal customers and the base of Chipotle, of people that want that organic, that responsibly raised food, getting them involved in the company and sharing their testimonials, getting like why they love Chipotle out there. This would create a brand that people can identify with, a brand that they rely on, a brand that they really feel a part of. This would not just create food with integrity, this would then create people with integrity. So to go into the plan itself, so the first part is obviously after we approach Albertsons is really creating this plan hand in hand with Albertsons, working out the logistics, supply chain optimization, really getting truck routes, what stores are being supplied from what warehouses, and then we're just really working with them over the 6 months, about 6 months, of when to implement the plan, where and who, what, where, when, why. From the marketing side, we would be creating a marketing platform either throughout social media or websites and launching this campaign. The first part is to really advertise the campaign, get the campaign out there, make sure people are getting involved with it, make sure they know that Chipotle is trying to get this information from its clients, and really get that, really drum up support for Chipotle. Afterwards, we would have to monitor the submissions as well as create the videos with our marketing partners and really start getting the word out there. Chipotle is healthy, is organic, and has responsibly raised meats that you want and love about Chipotle. The metrics we thought would be key to making sure this plan is working out properly would have firstly the intermediate plan for marketing. The intermediate metrics for marketing would be the number of submissions. Hopefully there will be thousands of submissions, that people are really getting involved, telling Chipotle why they love Chipotle, telling people why Chipotle is the best place to eat. And then just looking at the number of video views and submissions, seeing that their videos on YouTube are getting millions of views and people are making sure the comments are good and everyone's loving Chipotle and really loves the campaign that we're putting out, loves the video, the art that we use, whatever it is. On the conclusive side of marketing, we really want to look at our comparable sales for Chipotle, make sure we're getting back to that double-digit growth that we've seen in the past, make sure people are really coming back into stores and really trusting Chipotle again. We'd also do a quarterly marketing and employee survey scores, making sure that the marketing campaigns are really hitting home, making sure the employees feel like they're serving the clients properly, making sure they feel like they can do their job properly, making sure the marketing is getting out there, making sure that brand image is really hitting home. And then thirdly, we're doing a year-over-year customer trust and satisfaction scores, which will be administered by third parties. We want to make sure that our brand name, make sure that Chipotle's brand image is organic, responsibly raised, healthy food, making sure that people are trusting, the consumer is trusting Chipotle, and making sure they're not worried about E. coli or anything else. They know that Chipotle is safe and the best place to eat. On the partnership side with Albertsons, for intermediate stats, we believe they need to see ingredient supply consistency %. So what that means is, if we're at Chipotle and we have these 10 ingredients that we need supplied by Albertsons, we make sure those 10 ingredients are always supplied. So in a month, let's say, where you have 10 out of 10 ingredients, that's 100% efficiency, and then next month you only have 9 out of 10 fully stocked for the month, and that's a 90% efficiency. So making sure our efficiency is at 100% all the time, and making sure that we're getting the supply efficiency that we need to supply our customers with the products that they want. On the conclusive side, We think that the price per unit of ingredients will be very important. As the partnership progresses, we hope that the prices of our inputs can decrease as the supply chain efficiency increases. This is also, we'd also want to see for Albertsons segment growth. So making sure that their organic products are resonating with customers, that customers go to Albertsons and their other locations to buy organic products, and that people are really buying into Albertsons organic brands. So the timeline for this that we're seeing is that obviously next quarter of this year we will be approaching Albertsons, trying to implement this plan, convincing Albertsons why this is the best route for them to go by partnering with Chipotle. Simultaneously, we will also be going with our marketing plan. So we'd be launching the My Chipotle campaign, and we'd be accepting submissions. So getting all the videos in, the testimonials, the social media reviews, everything. Getting that from our customers and from our fan base. In the next quarter, Q4 of 2016, we'd be finalizing the partnership agreement with Albertsons, so working through the contracts and other partnership nitty-gritty. And on the marketing side, we'd be editing and preparing videos with CAA Marketing, who were the same people that put out the Scarecrow campaign for Chipotle that was widely successful. Then in Q1 of 2017, would be the logistics planning with Albertsons. So really just the planning of what stores to supply from where and how many trucks do we need and other logistical stats that we have to work out with Albertsons. On the marketing side, we'd be launching the video campaign. So getting the videos out there, making sure people know that these videos are out there, really drumming up the support for Chipotle, making sure people are sharing these videos, watching the videos, commenting on the videos, getting the feedback. And then in the second quarter of 2017, at the end of our timeline, we see production ramping up for Albertsons. So they're bringing the products to the Chipotle locations. They're giving us what we need. We're giving them what they need. The partnership is working great. On the marketing side, we're maintaining and monitoring our media presence. So looking at the reviews, looking at the comments, making sure people are watching these videos, making sure that they're liking the videos, just really trying to involve our customers in our marketing. So the challenges we see for our plan are finding the right partner is the main challenge. So is Albertsons the proper partner for Chipotle? We believe Albertsons is because of the supply chain that they have, the locations that they have throughout the country, and the image that they're trying to increase. We had looked at things like Whole Foods or Trader Joe's, and while they have this great brand recognition of being organic and healthy, they don't have the scale, and they probably wouldn't gain much from a partnership with Chipotle. On the second challenge would be logistics. Obviously, implementing a plan like this takes a lot of planning. We need over 2,000 stores in the U.S. need to be supplied by Albertsons, making sure that the supply is enough, making sure we're getting the products we need. That way our customers never have any shortages, that we're never out of beef or chicken, that we get what we want and the customers get what they want. The third challenge is on the marketing side, where the participation in the My Chipotle campaign, making sure that people are getting involved with the Chipotle ads, making sure they know that Chipotle is trying to source this information with them, trying to get involvement in the Chipotle campaign, and making sure that people know that we want to hear back from them, and that Chipotle wants to know what people think. So on the risk side, we see that there's 4 main risks involved. The first would be marketing campaign risk. So this involves hashtag hijacking, spoof videos, just basically people just taking over the campaign or making jokes about what we're trying to do. We believe that this is a pretty high risk considering how the internet works and how if we're making this available to everyone, we're making it to those that may not be favorable to Chipotle. But what we would have to do to mitigate this would be just monitoring our videos, monitoring how the social media presence works, monitoring our interactions with our customers and with the people that may not even like us. So making sure that we're always putting out a positive branding. The second part would be the reputational risk. So by doing a partnership, both sides have to maintain their end of the bargain, but at the same time, if Albertsons has any issues on their supply chain or has any any downfalls, then it could reflect badly on Chipotle as well. This works both ways, but we do think that this is a low risk because Albertsons has been for many years supplying its thousands of stores across the country with very, very good integrity. Like, everything is fine. They have their organic brands. That's some of the largest organic brands in the country. We think that the supply will work great. But we will continuously evaluate it, make sure that if there is any reputational damage that we can bounce back from it, which we think that, like Chipotle is going to bounce back from any of the outbreaks. We think that if Albertsons were to have anything, we could probably mitigate that. This third part would be brand confusion. For Chipotle, when it first came out, it relied on this brand image of organic, responsibly raised, being this healthier option as compared to a Qdoba or a Taco Bell. That what you're paying for is this better food. So by partnering with Albertsons, we need to make sure that we're not losing that image. We're not losing the image of Chipotle being the better choice. That we're not selling out, so to say. We think this is a low risk though, because we think that Albertsons brand names, and specifically their organic brand names, resonate greatly with their clients and with their customers. So we think that by partnering, it may even increase Chipotle's standing. The fourth risk we see is an over-reliance / dependence risk. So we do want Albertsons to work with us. We want them to supply our thousands of stores, and we think they have the supply chain necessary. But there could always be a shortage of supplies depending on years, droughts, what have you. So we need to mitigate that by just maintaining maybe existing suppliers, developing contingency plans, making sure that in the event of anything that we can still supply our restaurants with the products that they need. Next up, we're talking about the pro forma, just the general overview of the financials that we're implementing. The initial project will be about 5% of revenue, which is around $225 million in initial investment. This will involve about 20% going to the marketing campaign, 40% going to the supply chain with partnership with Albertsons, and another 40% of that investment just working on operations and food safety. When we look at the general pro forma, we see the initial investment again, $225 million in the second quarter of this year, and then what we see is that there's an NPV. We get an NPV back of about 13.6, and we also get an IRR of about 9%. The way our assumptions here were that SG&A would be about 5% of revenue per year. That's doing that My Chipotle campaign, getting the brand name back to where it needs to be. And then also by 2018, we think that Chipotle will get back to this double-digit growth. That revenue is going to grow between 2017 and 2018, the quarters, back to that double-digit growth, back to where we've seen Chipotle be historically. And that through 2016, 2017, that we will progress to that level. And with that, we thank you, and we hope that you enjoyed our Chipotle recommendation.